Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I just got home to an exciting delivery. AEROGARDEN sent me their Farm 24, and I've actually had the AEROGARDEN Farm 12 for about 2 years now and was thinking of buying another larger unit, so it's good timing. And yeah, while I unbox it and set it up, I thought I could chat about the Farm series with you and kind of like pros and cons, who it's good for, whether it's worth the money, all that jazz. So if you've never heard of AEROGARDEN, they are basically these indoor hydroponic units, and they allow you to grow entirely start to finish indoors if you want to. You can also start indoors and grow outdoors if you have a garden or outdoor space. And they're very easy to use. They're basically like smart home tech gadgets. I have two behind me. That's the Harvest and that one is the Bounty. And basically they have built-in LED lights, a huge water tank. They give you reminders for when to add water, when to add nutrition. They make gardening very, very easy. And before I got one of these, I basically had black thumbs, and over time through using these, I've learned a lot about gardening and specifically hydroponics. The seeds they give you are non-GMO and it's pesticide free, which I really like, especially for growing greens. And yeah, they're like smart home tech devices. They make it very, very easy, even if you are convinced that you have black thumbs, to start gardening and to give gardening a go, because they tell you when to add water, they tell you when to add nutrition. The lights run on a set schedule, so you don't have to worry about it, and it's just very, very convenient and handy. And probably my favorite thing about them is there's no pests. So with hydroponics, because you're growing in water, it's not guaranteed, but it's like 99% pest free, and knock on wood, I've never had a bug problem. I hate bugs, so that's really important to me. And with hydroponics too, because you're giving them continuous light, water, and nutrition, they grow 5 times faster than they would outdoors in soil. And I live in New York City, and 6 months out of the year the weather is awful. It's cold and gray and miserable. So with these AEROGARDENs, I can grow indoors all year round, and I'm not really limited to the weather. I will say the one thing about the Farms that I dislike is the setup. With the Bounties and the Harvest, the small countertop models, they're very, very easy to put together. It takes like 5 minutes, if that. Whereas the Farm models, you do have to assemble them. You kind of have to screw the top in, screw the sides, screw the bottom, and they are quite large and heavy and cumbersome. So it helps, I think, to have someone put them together with you. And I also think it helps to have a drill, just to make the drilling process a little easier. I have a whole setup video on putting together the AEROGARDEN Farm 12, which I will link up here and in the description box. And basically the biggest trouble I had was because the holes don't line up. So these are obviously like mass produced in factory, and for whatever reason the holes don't really line up very well at all. So this time when I was putting the Farm 24 together, I did also have a slight issue with the holes, but it wasn't as bad as the Farm 12, so maybe they've fixed things. I did run into a different issue this time though. The Farm 24 top is like kind of broken. Only the left side lights raise and lower, the right side doesn't. So they did send me a replacement, and I'm waiting for that. It should arrive tomorrow, hopefully. Overall, I think AEROGARDEN's customer service is really good. If you ever have any issues, if your seeds don't germinate, they have what's called like a germination guarantee. So if your seeds don't sprout in 21 days, you can contact them and they'll just ship out a replacement. That is like one of the nice things about going with AEROGARDEN versus the cheaper models. They do have a little bit more support. So with the Farm family, there's currently 5 different models. There's like the Farm 12, the Farm 12 XL, and then there's the 24 Basic XL, Basic Plus, and XL. So the main difference between them is the Farm 12 has one grow deck of 12 pods, 12 slots, and the Farm 24 has 2 equal-sized grow decks of 12 each. And then between the regular, Basic, Plus, XL, that basically refers to the height capacity. So the shortest model is a 12-foot height, then it goes up to 24 and 36. So I particularly like the XL varieties because they give you up to 3 feet of growing height, which is really, really clutch when you're trying to grow larger plants. So I mainly use mine for pepper plants because they do need quite a lot of space. When I was new to AEROGARDENs, I didn't really understand why the Farm 24 was not one giant grow deck of 24 slots and why it was 2 equal portions of 12. And now that I have a little bit more experience, I actually think it's quite a smart design feature. It allows you to grow 2 different types of plants. Basically every plant has different nutrition requirements, and with separate grow decks you can kind of control the nutrients and the water and the feeding schedule that way. The other thing is it lets you control the height, so sometimes plants will grow at different rates and you can control the light heights and the light schedule all separately, so I actually think that's quite a nice feature. And yeah, overall I really like the design of the farm units. I think they are a really nice substantial piece. They sit on the floor, they are quite large. If you have the room in your kitchen, you can put them like near your kitchen island or kitchen counter. You can also stack them if you have multiple, and you can create like a wall of AEROGARDENs, which I think is really neat. And then the AEROGARDEN farms have the strongest lights out of any of the AEROGARDEN units, so they have either 1 or 2 panels of LED lights, and it has kind of a spectrum of lights. So there's white, red, like a deep red, like far red, and blue. And basically plants benefit from different lighting, different colors of light depending on the stage of growth that they're in. So I think blue light helps with leaf growth, red light helps with like fruiting, and then far red light helps with rooting, like root growth, and the white light is just good for general growth. So if you actually look on the bottom of the LED panels of all the different AEROGARDEN units, they are slightly different, and I do think the farm ones are the most powerful and the best lights. So that's pretty important if you want to grow larger fruiting plants. If your lights are too weak, you'll get like stringy, leggy plants that are kind of straining upward to reach the light, and they just won't be, they'll be like leggy, and then they also won't produce as much leaf and fruit production. So I do think it's worth getting a stronger light system. And then going off the lights, what I like the most about the farms is that you can customize the schedule. So because these lights run for quite a long period of time, anywhere between 15 to 17 hours of the day, they are quite bright, and with something like the Harvest behind me, it's a really simple model, so it's just lights are on or off. You can change the time, but the farm has a much more level of customization that you can do. You can actually set the start time, the end time. Well, you can set the start time and then it will correspondingly adjust the end time. You can also do a sunrise sunset feature, so the lights will gradually dim as opposed to just like turning on. And yeah, I kind of use it as like partially an alarm, like a sunrise alarm clock, especially in the winter because I have a really hard time waking up, and the lights are quite nice and bright. If you think the lights will bother you, you can always put it in a room and like with a door and close the door, but I personally don't mind them. The next question that I get a lot is like, what should you grow in the farm and what makes the farm worth it? And I feel like the answer is the same for both of them. It's that you can grow larger fruiting plants. So you can try cucumbers, eggplant, melon, hot peppers, cherry tomato plants, and because of the combination of the height capacity, the larger grow deck, and the stronger lights, you can get much healthier, stronger, more productive large plants with the farm. So right now I have, I think like 8 different pepper varieties going, and I'm probably gonna plant some more, and yeah, I'll kind of show you some of the different ones that I have going on, but I just think it's kind of limitless. So when you buy the AEROGARDEN farm, it does come with 24 seed pods. There's a couple different ones that you can pick from. In this one, I recently got the cherry tomatoes, salad greens, and herbs kit. And I haven't used them yet because I like to grow my own seeds. And I have a whole video on how to do that, which I will link up there and in the description box if you want to check out. But basically, if you buy your own seeds from the local plant nursery, grocery store, whatever, seed catalog, you can just buy a separate little kit called a grow your own kit, and it basically comes with empty sponges and pods, and then you can grow whatever you want in your AEROGARDEN, and I think the farm is perfect for that. And then the AEROGARDEN farms also come with a couple extra handy little accessories, so that the other models don't come with. So one, it comes with a hose, and this is just kind of like a convenient tool because these farms hold a lot of water. Some people like to regularly empty out the water bowl and replenish the nutrients so that they know exactly the nutrient level of their plants. And if you want to do that, then it comes with a hose, and basically you attach the hose to the pump in the grow deck, and then you either put the other end of the hose in a sink or in an empty basket or in a tub or something, and you can really quickly drain out the water that way, as opposed to having to lug around like a couple gallons of water and slosh it all over the place. It also comes with a trellis system, which I really like. It's a different trellis system than the one that the Bounty comes with. So the Bounty is kind of like a hard plastic piece that just sits on the top of the grow deck. The farm trellis system is a little bit more customizable. It's basically a series of magnets and wires, and you can adjust the wires at any point along the horizontal depth and the vertical height of the farm. So I use those quite a bit for my pepper plants, and I have a whole video on pepper maintenance where I kind of show you the trellis system in a different video, so you can check that out. Oh, and then there's also a mobile app. It looks like this. So basically it gives you little reminders of when to add more water, add your plant food. It gives you little tips and notifications, so that's quite nice to have if you want. You can also control the movement of the lights and turning them on and off from the mobile app. Okay, I feel like I've talked you through all the reasons why I like the farm. Now I guess I can share some of the cons. So biggest con I think is the setup, which I already talked about, but the second biggest con is definitely the price. These are expensive machines. You know, one of the most common criticisms I get is that you can do it yourself for a lot cheaper, and I don't disagree, but I think if you want something sleek and that looks nice, because it's going to be inside your home and it's going to be visible, then it's kind of, you know, I wouldn't really compare something like the farm to a DIY option. And I do think for the price, like they do go on sale regularly, they do have coupons, like I'll link any that I find in the description box, so you can get them at a slight discount. What I like most about them is I'm growing things I can't find at the grocery store, so for me it's kind of like comparable to comparing it to like what I would spend at the grocery store. And then also they are reusable machines, so I've used mine for many years now, and they just, you know, you can keep reusing them. You buy it once and just keep getting more utility out of it. So I think that if you have the money, then I think they're a nice buy, and I do think they're worth it. And yeah, I've learned a lot about gardening through these systems. So I feel like you can start with one. You can start with like a small countertop one, and then you can maybe try a large floor model one like the farm. And then if you want, you can also attempt DIY versions. I have a video on that as well, which you can check out about Cracky, and I'll again link it above and below. And yeah, there's just lots of different options, and I think for someone who's new to gardening, these are like the best things that you can try out. They also make really good gift ideas. So yeah, anyway, that is my kind of quick and dirty overview of the farm. And if you have any questions about them, then let me know in the comments. And I would also love if you have any tips or anything that you've grown that you really like, let me know. Always looking for just like more suggestions. All right, bye.